Hello, everyone. Welcome to those joining us live and also those catching up on the replay or podcast. Today, we have the second session in the Agency Evolution series, readjusting what our core digital marketing offerings look like in the age of AI. In this series, we're looking at real agency stories and how our core digital services are evolving with AI and client expectations. So in today's episode, we're going to be focusing all on copywriting. Which understandably has been one of the hardest hit areas so far. We're diving into how AI has changed in the space, especially now that content's so readily available, how agencies are adapting to the shift in client expectations with their content, and where there is opportunity to pivot into a strategic conversion point, instead of general copy generation. So if you haven't already registered for the whole series yet, I'll send the link out at the end, as well as the replay and any other info that comes out of the session. So joining me today is Globital's very own Head of Copywriting, Wainwright. Lauren is an experienced editor, copywriter, and has been with Globital for 5 years now. Recently, she's been spearheading a major shift in the way we approach copy as a white label partner, as a strategic and performance-driven service over conventional copywriting. So welcome, Lauren. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Nyan, and hello to all our viewers, and thank you for this opportunity.
Awesome. So before we get into the core of what's happening in the industry, can you just tell us a little bit about you and your role at Globital?
Right, so my journey kind of started in academic editing and teaching, and it really gave me this sharp eye for detail. But my passion has turned from language semantics to language evolution and how it's used, particularly now in the digital sphere. At Globital, I'm really grateful that I'm able to help lead our brilliant copywriting team. Our team consists of senior level copywriters and editors, and we essentially act as a white label partner to digital agencies, and we deliver everything from web copy to email sequences to blog posts. Whatever you need, we can do it. And we ensure that every piece of content we produce isn't just grammatically correct, but it is a high-performing engine for our clients' growth.
Absolutely. You guys do great work over there in the copywriting team.
Thank you. We try.
So when AI hit the industry, obviously copywriting was the first one to really feel the effects of that, as we've touched on before. So large language models making content creation easier than ever, very, very quick to generate, and led to a flood of AI content or slop in the market. And search engines needed to start putting some checks and balances in place to help balance what we're seeing in our AI generation, which we've touched on previously in other episodes. So what kind of impact has that had on copywriting and digital marketing from your perspective?
Right, so yeah, I think it would be really easy to just go off on a whole list of all the negative things that AI has done to copywriting in digital marketing. You know, it has obviously threatened jobs to a real lack of quality of unverifiable information on the web. But at Globital, we try not to view this through a lens of bitterness. And in fact, we actually embrace AI as an ally, which might be surprising for some people to know. But I mean, from the moment that the world gained access to ChatGPT, the copywriting department, we went full steam ahead with, we didn't just want to sit back and see what happened. You know, what was everybody going to do with this tool? We immediately began learning. We began experimenting with the tools. We began upskilling our team, refining our processes. So from my perspective, the impact on digital marketing hasn't really been a replacement of a copywriter to some degree, but it has redefined the craft of copywriting. AI has just kind of forced the entire industry to raise its standards, which, it could be a good thing. And it's no longer enough to just be good at writing, because AI is good at writing, but we now have to be exceptional at strategy. And in our copywriting department, we're really using this AI era, to double down on that excellence.
Yeah, absolutely. It's become a key defining factor with content at the moment. So how have you noticed agencies repositioning their content offering to counter this?
So there was a really interesting study that SEMrush published on a report of AI content marketing, and it showed that 67% of small businesses are now using AI for content marketing and SEO purposes. And 75% of emerging businesses are actively using AI solutions for all of their marketing, which is kind of crazy, you know, that suddenly cuts out a whole lot of clients in the loop. But this has forced all agencies, no matter how big or small they are, to reposition to stay relevant. So I've seen a lot of our very successful agencies, they've framed their content offerings from more of, you know, invest in this package of 4 blogs per month, you know, which these small businesses can just create themselves with AI, to here's how our copy can increase your visibility and retention. And that's what AI can't do for them, you know, or they don't quite have the know-how or the skill set to use the tools to increase that visibility and retention. Which is where we step in. You know, there is definitely a place for us. So I've also seen a lot of agencies educating their clients, which has really helped form this real nice synergy and this relationship, well, better communication with agencies and clients. A lot of them are educating them about this anti-slop movement and how they're part of it and what they're doing to make sure that their copy leans heavily into Google's EEAT, which is experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So, you know, agencies are also moving beyond traditional SEO into GEO and AEO, all the things which will work all closely together in copywriting. And the outcome of this educating clients has been super helpful. It's really given everyone a greater responsibility from all players, meaning the agency, the client, the copywriter, to publish valuable content online.
Yeah, well, it's there's a lot more involved with complementary services now, isn't there? So it's not just copywriting itself anymore, it's GEO, it's AI search visibility, it's making sure that you're optimized across everything.
Exactly.
How have AI client expectations changed?
So, okay, so now that like the novelty of AI has worn off, clients are no longer impressed by how much copy you can produce. Clients are expecting us to engineer trust. They aren't asking for 2 blogs a month anymore. They're asking for 2 pieces of authority building content that can win a citation in an AI search summary. So it's become very more focused now because they can produce the content, but they can't get those results that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And I would say in a way, it's actually really good. This AI content saturation with this AI slop. You know, from a copywriter's perspective, it's actually been a bit of a gift in disguise, and it's forced us to stop being order takers and start being architects of copy.
Yeah.
You know, traditional copywriting used to really be about linguistic flair and, you know, how skilled you could be at using the metaphors and similes and everything else. But now it's all about differentiation. You know, when the market is completely saturated with all this like multi-tier or mid-tier AI content that, you know, is so generic and no one wants to read, the human element is what becomes the luxury good that people are seeking.
Absolutely. That's it. So we've made some really big shifts behind the scenes at Globital to keep the service relevant and efficient for agencies to utilize for their clients. Can you tell us a bit about what the evolved content service looks like at Globital and why it matters for digital agencies?
Okay, so in the copywriting department, that's a big question, but we are repositioning ourselves from conventional copywriters to copy strategists. You know, we are the people, we are engineering, we are the people behind the tools that know how to get the results for clients. Because content creation is so vast and it's easy to create with AI, without a proper strategy behind that, it's not going to lead to any worthwhile results. So gradually users are going to identify, they're going to be able to identify what's been AI created, and they'll be able to tell the difference in quality and what's not quality. So the copy we produce is going to, or does already, combine marketing expertise. So I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's like we're kind of going back to the old school traditional marketing, and all these foundation marketing techniques are what really matters. So we're combining this marketing expertise and professional copywriting techniques with the AI tools and our know-how how to use them to get those results, and human nuance strategy, which currently AI doesn't quite possess. Sure, it's developing, and it might get there, like who knows, but there's a lot that humans still need to be in control of in order for copy to sound like it's connecting with human beings.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think what we do is we're going to be engineering our messaging that really drives results by combining research, SEO optimization, AI search optimization, just making sure that everything is future ready for modern search ecosystems, conversion optimization, messaging that's designed to convert, not just inform, and then really taking a look at the analytics and making decisions based on, what are the engagements telling us, and how can we improve our copy to engage more human beings and search engines? Because that's the thing now, we aren't just writing for human beings, we are writing for humans and machines. And it's really being able to strike that balance with the right expertise, which we can now offer.
Yep, that's it. And for digital agencies, that's taking a load off their plate too, because they don't need to necessarily provide that strategy. They can help give the direction, but then you can take over and save them time.
Precisely.
With that process.
Yeah.
So I touched on it briefly before, but the big part is behind the copy now is incorporated into other services. So optimization, SEO, GEO, even web design, social media, those larger services as a whole. Has that changed the way agencies approach copywriting and the complementary services?
No, it definitely has. So the walls between departments has essentially collapsed, which is a good thing. Finally we can all start working together. And copywriting is no longer seen as like, the extra, it's no longer the plugin service that happens at, the end of a web project, for instance. So we really become part of this vital part of this entire machine. So as a white label partner, we've seen that agencies are no longer buying copy, they are buying the integrated performance. Copywriting is becoming the lead driver for GEO. Design is now copy-led, where we ensure that the visual hierarchy of a website matches the persuasion hierarchy. In social media as well, copywriting provides the emotional differentiation, and we're shifting from engagement posts to storytelling, to that connection. And even with our paid media, we are using AI-assisted copywriting to hyper-personalize these paid products. So really, we aren't just giving our partners text. We are giving them an entire intelligence that makes all of our other services more effective. And copywriting is part of this entire connective tissue that makes complementary services work. So we are needed.
Absolutely. So what are some of the other services that you see as most beneficial for agencies to package with copy at the moment?
Definitely web copy. 100% is definitely web development, web design. There's a huge shift in making web copy more localized, more cultural nuanced, that's going to connect with people. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately right now, AI can't provide those cultural nuances, but human beings can. So I would definitely put, so if it's not so much blog post, then it's definitely web copy and web design.
Absolutely, that's what's going to convert once customers hit your website, isn't it? So you need to get that right. Absolutely.
Exactly. But I think it's also, important to point out that we're getting at a stage now where people aren't just going to be clicking on your website link anymore. So the content we write and produce really has to feature in AI search. And there's an entire strategy behind making that work, which you would need people to be able to assist with.
Yeah, can you just elaborate on that a little bit more? Because I know it's a really big deal at the moment, getting featured on those AI search criterias and like FAQs and things like that.
Correct. Yes. So, there definitely is like a GEO layer that we now have to provide. We have the shift with SEO, the keywords, but it's now more than just keywords. It's plus the specific contents. We need authoritative sources. We need brand associations that we've kind of embedded into AI models to recognize the client as a source of truth. We're also seeing there has to be some sort of technical expertise involved, particularly with schema markup, which helps AI models to parse and understand and cite your content. Copy that is structured with those H-tag hierarchies and the FAQs, which you mentioned, answer first blocks for AEO. These all need to be now included in copy. So it's no longer just a meta description, an H1, here's the blog, here's the CTA. It involves so much more now. So something else that's really important with being able to appear on AI search is fact verification. It's really well known that AI hallucinates, so copy should be meticulously checked for accuracy. We need to verify facts and verify those external authority links, because AI doesn't provide clickable authority links.
Yep.
And then I think reporting is really, really important as well. Clients especially, they're on seeing, okay, well, if no one's clicking on my website, then how else can we measure that? We have to look beyond the traffic. We have to look at the engagement signals, like the scroll depth, time on page. And all of this will point to the need for agencies to use and prove their strategic intelligence behind the text that they provide their clients.
It's so much more than just copy now, isn't it?
It's way more.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much more thinking that goes behind it that people realize.
We've seen it in our own blog process now and content process for Globital itself, and all of the different criteria and things that go towards making up that one piece of content is, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's crazy, but it's effective. It's getting results through GEO and getting featured on those AI searches. So it just blows me away how involved and in depth it's become from just a standard copy piece to
and so while AI really has helped speed up the process, or helped at least make things a little bit more efficient, there is so much work that goes into producing something, first of all, that we're proud of, but also content that will make a difference to our clients. They want strong strategic messaging. They want content that sounds human. They want the stronger search visibility. They want that higher engagement and the better conversions, which is what the strategy aspect of it is so important.
Yeah. Absolutely. And how much of the AI portion goes into the final piece? How much of AI are you using?
Yeah, so if we're looking at a blog post, how much of the AI version are we using?
Yeah, or what parts of it are you using AI for, and then what parts are human-driven, for example?
That's a really good question. So AI is really good in helping us to maybe come up with an outline or an overview of content, which is helpful just as a jumping off point. But from there, we can use AI tools to our advantage, asking them to assist with specific research. We can really use the tools to help speed up that process a little bit. But at the end of the day, what we're providing clients is not the copy paste or the first draft that Gemini produces. This is where you really need a skilled editor as well. So shout out to editors, there's a need for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
That the editor can then use their expertise and see, okay, we can keep this from AI. Here's where we need to inject some human nuance, and here's where we can just totally scrap it or replace it with something else.
Yeah.
So it really has become, like I said, it's an ally. We use it to our advantage, but never to replace human skill sets.
Absolutely. Well, that's where the main benefit comes in, is that human element.
Exactly.
So,
which is what we can provide.
Bit of a big question here. Where do you see the future of copywriting over the next few years?
I wish I knew. If I had that answer, maybe my life would look a little different. But I mean, the role of copywriter is undergoing just like the most significant transformation kind of since the invention of the printing press, right?
Yeah.
We're essentially, as a human society, we are rewriting the whole book on literally every single profession. So it's not just digital marketing, it's everything.
Yeah.
But given how much the industry has changed in the span of just 3 years, when ChatGPT came out and it was all the rage, but it's clear that the world no longer requires people who can produce text. But the world does need people who can design the strategic narrative that moves a business forward.
Yeah.
So my hope is that collectively, as a human society, as a human species, that we can still value the most valuable thing that a brand can own, which is its humanity.
Absolutely. And I guess, will it still be a viable service as a standalone, or just need to be packaged with other services to provide that value, do you think?
That's also a really good question, because I think there's we can argue for both. So on the one hand, I do think that high-end copywriting will always exist as a standalone service. When it comes to like brand manifestos and creative campaigns, and because those do require a lot of cultural intuition and nerve that AI doesn't have and it can't replicate. Which again, it could dramatically improve. Who knows? I don't know. Someone's going to have to spend a lot of time programming all the slang and cultural differences.
Yeah.
So good luck to that person. But on the other hand, I think probably for like 90% of the market, copywriting has to be packaged with other services. To the client, words are cheap, but the results are expensive. So future-proof agencies will be moving away from selling these individual items like a LinkedIn post, and they're going to start selling products like search authority packages, retention ecosystems. So it's basically the same thing, but we're broadening it now to make it sound really strategic, which it is. And it's going that extra step further that AI can't currently do without the right prompting.
And that's what that's all about, isn't it? It's reinventing our core services and what that looks like for the agency and the client.
Which gives us, I think, more opportunity to be creative.
Yeah, it's true. If we're packaging it in with other services and changing the way that the service looks in itself, there's endless options, really.
Hundreds.
Big scope there. Okay, last question I've got is, what's something that you are looking forward to or waiting for with the evolution of AI and copy and digital marketing? Anything that you'd like to see come?
I'm really looking forward to just the general public who are able to recognize AI copy, and analyze its effectiveness. Like I hear on our local radio station all the time, all of the ads are AI generated, and I can easily pick that up, and it frustrates me to no end, because I know all the words, the elevates and the, whatever in the world of which AI uses. I'd love for everyone not to just accept that. I'd love for people to turn to Google for answers that, Okay, so when people turn to Google for answers, that the answers on the web are real, that they're human driven, or that they speak to human beings rather than people, who just put stuff whatever on the internet. But my hope is that people will just become aware. But I'm also looking forward to, with our professions becoming like these hybrid professionals where, I'd love for our team to maybe spend 20% of our time typing and 80% of our time thinking and strategizing, innovating. We're finally getting back to what copywriting was always meant to be, which is the art of solving business problems with the power of language. And that's what I'm really looking forward to. But I think we have a little ways to go.
So there's a little way to go, but I
Just
hope we get there, because it's good. That's the way it should be. And you don't want to take machines to take away the soul of what we're trying to achieve as digital marketers.
Exactly.
For our clients.
Exactly.